everyone. Finally got my phone situation figured out, so we are here. We're going to talk about all things slap bands tonight. So over the past, I don't know, week, I've probably stitched out like 5,000 million of these things just to try and make sure that I can tell you what combinations work, which ones don't work. And sorry, my head's cut off. I thought I could orient the phone this way, but no, apparently I can't on a live, so you get half of my face. So we're going to go ahead and make some tonight. We're just going to focus on the vinyl versions because the steps are really the same for the fabric ones minus the applique pieces, and those take forever. So this way we can just talk about kind of like construction and materials and things like that. We'll go over kind of how to add personalization to it and how that's constructed differently. And then I have not yet released the shaker pattern because I wanted to make sure I knew all the variations that would work. But we'll make one of those, so I should have that pattern out pretty soon, probably early next week. But yeah, hi Erin, hi Diane. So with that said, I went ahead and loaded. I didn't use the multi-file because I wanted to talk about each slap band kind of like step by step. So we'll make one, we'll stop, we'll make another. So that's why if you actually have made these or the multi-file, it will stitch all the way through like a regular multi-file does. But for this video, we're just doing kind of one by one by one. So we'll do 6 total. So the first one we're going to do is just kind of your standard normal vinyl one. Hi, Gemma. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Jennifer. So the vinyl ones, I want to talk about some different vinyls first of all, because all vinyls are a little different. And I talk about using thinner materials for it. And the reason is because when you start getting thicker vinyls, the slap band does not want to curl. For those of you that have not seen it, hi Paula, hi Amy, hi Margaret, hi Karen, I think I'm caught up. Oh, Vera, hi. Ohio, fellow Ohioan. This is the insert. I've linked these several times in the group. This is not the only one that'll work. I get these on Amazon. It was like $6 for like 46 or something of them. They're just like, it's like a metal thing inside, but it's got like this plastic case on the outside. And what you'll notice is this metal piece, if you can see, doesn't actually go all the way to the top. So I get questions because it looks like some of these aren't standard length, like be off by like 1/10 of an inch or whatever. And that's fine. I want to say the vinyl ones are like 8 and 16th of an inch long. The fabric are a little longer only because of the applique, the satin around it. But I gave a little extra room in there so that, in fact, if I can show you on one of my clear ones over here, yeah, kind of, if you can see on the clear, there's a little extra room. So this is the actual like insert inside, just all clear. So there is a little extra room. So if you can't find the exact length, just get it close. It'll be fine. But they're just simple old things. I mean, we had these when I was kids, and I think I was around them being banned in school. I think the teachers just got annoyed. Some people talk about them being dangerous because of the metal on the inside. Obviously, if there wasn't anything around it, I could see that that would be dangerous. But other than that, like, just don't use them if like the metal's showing or they're wearing out. I think is probably the best practice. Hi Susan. So these, if you've not seen these before, they're pretty cool. You can just slap them on your wrist and they close. They're pretty sensitive, but they're pretty cheap. They're fun to make. So with the vinyl ones, that's the biggest thing you need to worry about material wise. So there's so many choices of vinyls. When I say stay away from thicker ones, I've gotten it to work with marine and some thicker novelty vinyls. Like, I've not tried this one. We're going to try this one tonight because this is, it's a novelty vinyl, but it's pretty thick. It's almost like a marine and it's not as soft. So let's see if it works. I think it will, but there's this one. And then thinner vinyl's best on these. If I actually like, if you're familiar with like glitter canvas, which is like, it's got this, most vinyl will have like a brush backing or like a canvas backing, and you can't really see on camera, but this is a canvas backing. This is my favorite white of all time. It is the white gumdrop from So Hungry Hippie. It's awesome. I love it. It's pretty lightweight. It's great. Holds up little stitches, even like heavy satins. This is some cheap, horrible stuff. which is perfect for this. If you have vinyls that you've like not wanted to stitch with that don't hold the satin stitches but are super cute and they're just kind of sitting on a shelf, this is the perfect project for those, because the vinyl ones, there's not a lot of stitching, so you can just use up kind of that crappy vinyl. So this was one I got. I loved it. It was gorgeous, and I wanted to sew something with it. And no, it's terrible. Like the second that it folds, you can't get the wrinkles out even with like a warm iron on the back. But this is also great for these two. Another option, this is like a novelty. I don't know where I got this from. And it's a brush backing, but it's still pretty thin and pretty supple, so we're good there. And this stuff was from, it was like Glitterbug Fairy, like when she did one of her big stash things, but I like it. It looks kind of like a glitter canvas, but it's got a brush back. So I don't know how it holds up to satin stitches, but it's also great for these. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my vinyl discussion there. As far as backing goes for the vinyl, I talked a lot about using Olifun, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Olifun. It is a non-woven, kind of cheap fabric. When you see those like kind of fabric like totes in the stores that you can buy, the reusable totes, they're usually made out of something like this. It's polypropylene fabric, I think. I think they even make the weed barriers out of them, but I don't know that I'd recommend getting like weed barrier fabric, because I don't know what other stuff they put in it and if it's a soft, but Olifun, it's pretty cheap. I linked earlier. Michael's has got a good price on it. It's like, I don't know, $5 a yard. You can get it on Amazon too if you're impatient like me, but it is more expensive. Yes, Amy, I know. So Amy and I had a discussion, was it earlier today or yesterday, about how to pronounce it, because I was saying, what was I saying? I was saying Olifun. But she was like, is it Olifun? We didn't know. So we're just guessing. I'm going to go with Olifun because that seemed to make the most sense. But it's pretty lightweight stuff. It is great for on the back of things. I actually use it on the back of notebook covers too, just to keep some of the bulk down when I'm stitching those up. So if you look up, Gemma, if you look up polypropylene fabric, you can find something like it. There's also something that I found on Amazon that I have not gotten yet. It is called disposable paper or disposable fabric. And it's like these sheets, and it looks in the picture to be identical to this. So I ordered some because it was pretty cheap. It was like 50 sheets, like 9 by 12 for like $10. So I have some of that coming, and I'll report back if it's any good. But that might be a good option too, especially if you don't want to commit to having to buy a whole yard of this stuff and you just want a lot of colors. That might be a good option. I also earlier today did some experimenting with using spandex fabric on the back. I will show you. I have 57,000 billion slap bands back here. So here's one. So it actually worked really well. Spandex and most knit fabrics are going to be non-fraying. So if you can't find the Olifun, I'm going to have to think about that. Olifun, that might be a good option for you. Just find some like pretty spandex fabric. Probably get some not pretty stuff, but I like pretty stuff. This was in the like cosplay section at Joann. They had a lot of cute ones. So as you can see, it's not fraying and the sides look good. The only thing with using a spandex or any kind of knit fabric on these is they're a little harder to work with because they do stretch. So normally when I'm using them for sewing, I would, obviously not garments, but bags or something like that, I actually use spandex and knits on the makeup wipes. I would interface it on the back with something to stabilize it so it doesn't stretch, but you don't want this interfacing to add any more bulk to these, so I didn't. So when you do lay them down, once you've got your placement stitched and you put it down, make sure you tape it really well so it doesn't shift and bunch up on you and doesn't stretch. It doesn't really stretch. Also, you can use some spray starch before you even start on this to kind of give it a little more body so it's less likely to stretch too when you stitch on it. So that's another option too, is that spandex. So, and this is vinyl spandex, and you can see no problems there. So some of the combinations that I've tried, they do not work very well. My daughter took off with all my other vinyl ones, so I don't have a lot to show you on that. But this was one I released earlier this week or last week. It was like actually stitched on there, so it's constructed a little differently than the first ones I released that have no stitching on them. But this is vinyl with, I think I had Badge Master, which was, or do I can't tell. Do I have any stabilizer in there? No, I use Badge Master. So Badge Master, I get a lot of questions when people see what's in my hoop for stabilizer. It's this stuff. So this is a heavy duty water soluble stabilizer. I love it for using it on patches because there's nothing to have to like pull away. It basically perforates clean out, and I'll show you as we do it too. So you don't have to worry about that. If you get the Badge Master brand name, it's kind of pricey. It's like $30 for maybe a 10-yard roll, but All Stitch has their own version of this, which is what I'm using, which is a lot cheaper. Like you can get a ginormous roll for $30 to $50, depending on the width that you want on it. So this is awesome. If you don't have this, that's fine. You can use tearaway too. It's just kind of annoying to pull out from the small stitches at the back sometimes. So hi Jenny, hi Beth. So that's this stuff. I've linked before, but I'll link again. But if you don't have this, just use tearaway. That's fine. It's not an issue at all. So the first one of these that I'm gonna do, I am gonna stitch just the regular way. But to show you my commitment to the shakers, I'm gonna show you my commitment to finding and making these shakers work. I have stitched out so many shakers. So many shakers. Do you see all these? These are all shakers that I've stitched pretty much today. So, with these, so I mentioned earlier that with these, I'm just going to recommend what's called TPU vinyl, and not PVC. So they're just types of vinyl. PVC is what we're usually associating with clear vinyl, and vinyl, a lot of vinyls are PVC, but they're not as flexible, they're more rigid. They're a little thicker. So I cut out some samples to show you, and of course, oh, here they are, yay. So all right, so for example, if you can even tell on camera the way I'm holding this is a TPU. So it's pretty flexible, but it's still thick, so it's going to hold up to stitches. But it's a little softer, so it's going to work well when you have layers and layers of these on the slat bands. This is what I tried first, which is what I would normally use for clear vinyl, and it is PVC. So when you go to Joann and you get their vinyl, that's what you're getting, is this PVC. So this compared to this, if you can see the difference, and like this is just a lot more flexible. This is the same gauge too. These are both 12 gauge vinyls. So this is what we're going to use because it's got some flexibility to it and it'll snap closed. I did get this to work in a couple variations, but not as well. I even tried, so I decided, okay, well, I'm going to get the next gauge down in the PVC to see if it works. So this is a 9 gauge. It worked, but I don't like it. So let me show you what I'm talking about with these. So first up, this was my first one that I did. And this is that 12 gauge TPU vinyl with olefin for the 2 pieces in the back. So with this, snaps great. It's perfect. And when you look at it, like it looks kind of clean on the edges. So it's a little professional. It doesn't like crinkle as much. If you can tell on camera, it doesn't really crinkle up. So it's softer, more flexible. It doesn't want to stay open on me now. Hi, Piera. This was one that I tried with, this is PVC. So 2 issues on here. So it kind of, it's not as exciting. Part of the issue I thought may have been that I'm using like bigger kind of glitter here. So again, you have to be careful on the glitter that you're using. You can kind of get it to work, but this combination of this big glitter and this PVC vinyl, no go. The other one that I did. I did this one with, this is the PVC, and this is Olefin again, and I used like this is actually crushed Mylar I got from Happy Kawaii Supplies. If you think glitter goes everywhere, glitter has nothing on this. I think I was pulling this out of my eyebrows. It's bad. It's really pretty, but it sticks to everything. It's like basically Mylar, like just cut into little pieces. And so it goes everywhere, but it works. So I was able to get this to work. So again, this is PVC. So I got it to work with that Mylar stuff. So I got the Mylar stuff at happykawaiisupplies.com. I've Googled some of the exact web address. It's something just like that. I linked it earlier, but that's where I got this. I think they even have this like crushed up Mylar strands. If you're super, I don't know, budget conscious and like to DIY everything, I've seen people make this by getting some Mylar sheets from the craft store and putting it in a food processor. I'm never going to do that because I know how bad this stuff got everywhere. So you'd never want to use that food processor ever again unless you're really committed to cleaning it out. But that is an option. So then I tried moving on to felt because I talked about, oh, you can use felt for these. Well, yes and no. So this is felt. This is TPU vinyl. Wait, I'm trying to feel the difference here. No. This is PVC with felt. And I got the thinnest, crappiest felt that I could find. So this stuff, if you can even see, it's like super see-through. So this is like the cheap felt. Big packs I get on Amazon. I use them on the back of like key fobs and bookmarks and stuff. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny linked for you. This is the nicer felt, which you get by the yard. See the difference? Like this is so rigid and this is not. This is not what you want for these because it is a lot thicker and it's going to bunch up on you and it's not going to snap close. So stick with, normally you wouldn't want cheap materials and supplies, but with these you do. So cheap, crappy felt. Someone got it at the dollar store too. So the cheapest, most horrible felt you can find will work for these. So this was one I did in PVC felt and it kind of sort of works. But do you see the difference in like, it kind of like needs some coaxing. So I don't really recommend felt for these. Tried it again with the TPU and felt. And it, again, it's better, but it doesn't, if you look at the difference when these are closed compared to like this, look at the size difference. So felt is going to be a no-go on these shakers. And I then tried to see, okay, can I do clear on both sides? So this one, trying to feel the sides. This is PVC. So it's basically, it's 2 layers of clear. It's like a sad trombone. No, but I was able, and you kind of got to shake them out because it will get bunched up at one end. But I was able to get this one to work, but still not as well. So probably no go on the clear on both sides. So the best option for these, and the only one I'm going to recommend, is going to be the TPU. Oh, see, look, it snaps really well. It's going to be the TPU vinyl and the Olefin for the shakers. So no substitutions on these, sorry. It's just not going to work. But okay, with that said, let's go ahead and stitch one out. So I load this all to my machine individually. So we'll start with just a plain normal one. And I got like a stack of stuff back here. I know I cut up my backings and stuff already, and now I gotta find it. Oh, here we go. Okay. So starting with my Olefin on the back of this. So the TPU clear, I'm actually working with Michelle of So Unique Designs and So Hungry Hippie. They are both gonna stock the TPU in the gauges that we need, but Michelle's trying to kind of source it right now and see and make sure it's the right thing. And Natalie is currently out of stock. However, I got mine from marinevinyl.com, and it's awesome. It was like less than $5 a yard, but the shipping was kind of pricey because it came on a huge roll. So Natalie and Michelle are gonna have better sizes for you. Oh, Jenny's got us. Never mind. Jenny's got a great Swiss horse, so Merino has it. So there are options, and I bet you Merino probably has better sizes than what the Marine Vinyl does too, which was great because I buy everything in bulk. But if you only want a little bit, you're not going to want to buy in bulk. So Jenny's got us there, and then we're still Michelle and Natalie will have some too in short order. So all right, so let's go ahead and start our first one. So stabilizer's loaded up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run my placement stitches. So I'm going to move you a little bit so you can see here. So first step is my placement stitch directly on the stabilizer. See how boring it is just waiting for the placement to go? That's why I didn't want to do the applique ones tonight, because it would be super boring watching that stitch. All right, so our placement stitches are down in the stabilizer. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but I'll take it out so I can show you. So placement stitches, can you see? They're there, I promise. So placement stitches are in. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to tack down our backing directly on, it's hard to hear me, I don't know, maybe move the phone away a little more. Usually I'm pretty loud, so I'm sorry, I'll try and talk louder. So this is our olifant, and it's going to go directly on top of our hoop, so not on the back. It's kind of counterintuitive to what you're normally used to. We're just going to slap that down on top, and we are going to now run the next step to tack that down. If I was being like a good, I don't know, diligent crafter, I would have secured it with tape, but I like to leave left on the edge, so I'm just going to kind of watch it and make sure that it ships. Meredith, this is Badge Master stabilizer. It's a heavy duty water soluble stabilizer, and I use it for patches and just things I don't want to have to deal with putting stabilizer away from later. You can use tearaway for these, but I like this because I hate extra cutting steps. Oh, sweet. So Merino has 18-inch rolls with a TPU, so that's great. So that's an option too. So first up, I'm going to use this crappy vinyl that I would not normally stitch on for anything because it's awful. It's like paper, but it's going to be great for this. So this here, we've got our backing tacked down. All we're going to do now is take what's going to be our front fabric, and we're just going to lay that over. And again, normally I would secure this with tape, but we're going for it. I'm just going to watch it, make sure it doesn't shift. So this step is stitching down essentially 3 sides of the slap bracelet. So the top will stay open so that we can slide our bracelet in. Yeah, live dangerously. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is I'm going to mess it up when I start over, so it's fine. And I have my machine speed turned down low, so that's why it's taking so long. Oh, and Jenny's got some links too for Badge Master. Jenny, can you Can you link the Badge Master from allstitch.com too? That would be awesome. Because they have the real big rolls too. Thank you. Love you. All right, so now we're on to the very last step actually. So what we've done now, and hopefully I should have used like contrasting stitching. Can you see? So this top part is open. So yeah, you can kind of see. So this top part's open, and now we're gonna take our slat bands. I made a mess over here on the side. We're gonna take our slat band, if I can get them separated. Oh my God, there's like two together. Okay, so with these, what I like to do, remember earlier, if you were here earlier, I talked about how there's like a little, I don't know, limpy thing at the top where it doesn't go all the way through. So just for the sake of being careful, I like to put this with the excess side down towards the bottom. When you put it in, it's going to be like the, I don't know, it's going to be a valley, I guess. So you want the base of it where it curves to be what's actually against your material. You don't want to go in like this because then it's going to be backwards. So make sure that you slide it in this side first. It's not even a huge deal. It's just me. I want to make double sure nothing's going to hit anything. So I just now, if I can get it on camera, I'm just going to slide that down all the way in. Lanita, the TPU, yeah, you can use clear vinyl for any, if you sew with clear vinyl, you can use the TPU in place of PVC for anything. It's actually nicer to sew with too. A lot of vinyl companies are switching to TPU with their clear stuff because it's easier to work with. It doesn't hold the wrinkles like as hard as the other stuff does. It's just hard to get out PVC wrinkles. Like even if you iron it, sometimes they just don't come all the way out. So I know Glitterbug Fairy is switching to TPU. So, I mean, you can use it anytime, any way you would normally use clear vinyl. So, yeah, and coloring dolls, exactly. Yep, you can use them for those too. So the valley goes down. So if you're looking at the, it's like a U instead of a hill, I guess is the best thing. So you want it to be like this. So if you're looking at it, this is what goes down here. It's like a smiley face thing versus a frowny face. There we go. Smiley face versus frowny face. You want the smiley face. So I've got that in. I'm going to double check when I'm in just to make sure you can see that this is out of my stitching here. So it's not going to hit. And I'm going to pop that back in. And it's just going to stitch that top part for us. So. And that's it. Like, I know I talked for forever, but the actual part of making the bracelet takes like 5 minutes, if that. That's it. So it's it. It's stitched, it's done. I'm going to leave it in for now and not pull it out because I'm going to do one over here too. We're going to do this one a little bit differently. And this is the way that I have the bat slat band constructed, or you would want to construct this if you were wanting to personalize this. Oh, Christina, come on, you can do it. You can do it. My gosh, you make all kinds of things. You can totally do this. So I don't know why I loaded so many on here because we're not going to do all that. I know. Come on. Keep going. There we go. All right. So with this one, it's going to be like this. So this is with stitching on the front of it. So we're going to construct it a little bit differently. When you're doing it this way, it's super, 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 super important that you don't use thick vinyls for this. This is where you want to use that like canvas back stuff, the really thin novelty stuff. Stay away from things that have kind of the brush backing because they tend to be thicker. So because what's going to be happening is in this instance, you're going to have stabilizer sandwiched in between, unlike the first one that we did. So the first one we did is a little more forgiving on material thickness. This one is not. This has the Badge Master sandwich in and it's fine. And this actually wasn't even super, super thin vinyl, but using Bad Match tearaway is going to be a little heavier. So again, just be mindful of the materials that you are using on these. So for this one, we're actually going to do kind of the opposite, and we are going to put our top fabric on first. So I hope I like put out some regular stuff. I don't know. We'll do, you know what? We'll do black hearts for Halloween, right? That works. Orange and then black hearts. I guess I should have picked something else, but I just wanted to load it up real quick. So if you are wanting to personalize this and you don't have software, you can use the fonts that are loaded on your machine. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to run your placement. Oh, I just took my thread out, so that's not very helpful, is it? I guess I should thread the machine first. Usually it's best if we do that. All right. Let's see, I was going to stitch with air. Doesn't work very well. And I'm doing this, like sticking my nose right in there, so hopefully I got it through over there okay. All right, so, yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and do our placement stitch for this one. I'm looking at my bobbin now. I probably should have put a new one in before we started, but yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Hi, Gus. Hi, Gus. Gus is down here creeping. Okay, let me go back so far. Okay, so now we have, again, we have our placement. It's just directly on the stabilizer. And I'm going to take my front vinyl. So again, this is the opposite of how we constructed the first one. So this one is going to go on top. And this is our front this time. So you want it to be face up. I'm getting in there. Sure, all my placement stitches are covered. And I'm going to tack this down. I should have used orange. I'm going to keep just threading and rethreading my machine. It's all good, right? That's close enough. I always like my outline to stitches to match the vinyl that I'm using. Maybe it's just me being weird, but that's how I like to do it. Alright, yeah, I'm covering my placement stitches. Alright, so now I'm gonna go down and now I'm gonna tack down what's in the front of my bracelet. Thank you, Jenny. You're my hero. I'll buy you dinner in 2 months. I feel like this is such a long video for something that like is super quick. So I'm sorry if I'm like being too detailed, but I want to make sure I answer everyone's questions and tell you what didn't work and why it didn't work. All right, so now we have our front vinyl tacked down. We are going to go ahead and stitch our design on the top of that. So I just worked up some hearts. I don't know, because they're quicker than like doing a satin stitching for a name. But if you don't have software to add something in, you can use the built-in fonts on your machines to do the same thing. Just make sure that it stays kind of in that stitching area. And when you do want to personalize it, this is the step that you do that. So it's going to be after your second step. So first step is placement, stitching on the stabilizer. Second is tacking down that front vinyl. So any personalization that you want to do, you're going to want to add here. So Lanita, I normally do cut them with a rotary cutter down the long edges because I'm lazy. It's quicker. But I won't tonight. I'll be using scissors because I'm sitting right here. So, but yeah, I use a rotary cutter and I just kind of snip off the ends with scissors. All right, so now we're gonna stitch our little lame old heart design here. Super Halloween, right, with hearts, but it is what it is. I didn't plan this out very well. All right, so we're gonna run our design. And again, I have my machine's stitching speed turned down like super slow because it stitches better and it's just less wear and tear on your machine unless you have like a commercial grade machine. It's going to get you better stitch outs and it's going to be easier on your machine. And a lot of times you won't notice the difference as much on kind of simple shapes like this, but if you start doing more detailed stuff like patches or even on satins, you can see a huge difference between the stitch count, like the stitching speed being higher than lower. So mine, I think, is set at like, I don't know, maybe 500, 400, I don't know. Pretty slow. So that's why we're sitting here forever waiting for it to stitch. And I really wish, can I move this so you can see that a little bit better? So again, if you were personalizing it and adding it, you would do it after you stitch the second step of the design. And again, you're going to want to use really lightweight materials to do that because your stabilizer is going to end up being sandwiched in between. So this isn't not something you want to do heavy marine on or like thick felt on the back. So you can play with it too. Like it doesn't take a big time commitment to see what materials work for you. If you want to try it, I just wouldn't recommend it. I'm not saying it wouldn't work with like a marine, but I can't guarantee it. So just play with it and see if it works for you. Come on, stitch faster. Almost done. We have like one more heart after this. And see, that's why I didn't add a name tonight to this, because we'd be sitting here forever waiting for it to stitch out. And the steps that I'm doing here now are the same as how I would assemble the bat slap band that I just released. All right, so here is where we are. Let me move you over a little bit. Here's where we are now. So we have our design stitch here. This is our front vinyl. Now we're gonna sandwich this in the back. So this is what you guys are probably used to, like when you make snap tabs, bookmarks, all those fun things. We're gonna put something on the back here. So with this, I'm gonna grab my ollie fun, whatever you wanna call it. And I'm going to put this down in the back. Oh, and I forgot my masking tape. I am going to tape this down because I don't like to live that dangerously. Guarantee you if I didn't, it would not stay. All right. Okay. I'm back. I have tape now. All right, so I am just gonna tape my backing down on the back of my hoop. I like to make sure when I'm taping down on the back on the stabilizer, I keep it out of the line of stitching. Sometimes it kind of gums up the needle on me, so I like to avoid it, but other times it's fine. So, but it's also one less thing to have to work out of your stitches. All right, so here's my backing taped on, and I'm gonna pop it back in, and it's gonna run stitching. Oh, let me switch. I want orange again. It's gonna stitch the 3 sides and leave that top open for me so that I can add in the bracelet here in a minute. All right, so this is the second to last step. Oh, and why this is stitching? So I found this iridescent olefin, whatever we're calling it. I'm gonna think, oh, this is super, super cool. Like, right, this would be awesome to put in the back of it. No, don't use this on these, because I did. I was like, oh, how cool is this? And look, that's what happens with the iridescent olefin. So, yeah. It may be pretty, and I'm going to use it for notebook covers, but I'm not going to use it on these. Again, sad trombone. It's just not, it's not working. Anita, I kind of touched on it in the beginning with the shakers, but I'm going to go over more here in a minute. Once I'm done stitching this one out, we'll go and do a shaker one. So now, just like before, we are going to slide our slap band insert in the opening there left at the top. So we decided smiley face. So this way it's going to go in. We don't want frowny face or it's going backwards. So smiley face this way. Take the piece that has a little excess and put that towards your bottom just to make sure that it stays out here. You know what my dumb self did? I loaded the wrong design on here, and I forgot to leave an opening when I stitched down the vinyl because I didn't use my bat one. I just created a new one. So let me go ahead and make an opening here real quick, and we'll do what I said we should have done to begin with. Oh, wait, no, I lied. See, I don't follow my own directions. I'm fine. The opening is on the back. I forgot. So now the opening is left on the back of this. Don't mind me. I've been staring at a screen all day and probably inhaling glitter. So our opening's on the back. Smiley face, same thing. Go ahead and slide that in. That's what I get for second guessing myself. I did have it right the first time. So we're here now. And our slap bracelet's in. And I'm gonna load it back to the machine. I did do it right the first time. And I'm gonna run that last step to stitch. Yeah, you already threw when I hit that button. To stitch that last step to stitch it closed. Yeah, actually the next one that we do with the shakers, I'm going to show that you can use the olefin as the backing. With these, I'm not running a multi-file. I just kind of did them one by one since I did 2 different styles. But yeah, You absolutely can't use that as a stabilizer. So this is where we're at now. And like I said, the nice thing about this stabilizer is that it's easier with satin stitching. Look, it just pulls right out. It perforates. You gotta give it a little more of a tug when you're not using satin stitches, but it's gone. So that's the back now, and then I can just, again, pull this out of the top. I have crappy scissors here. Will these work? Let's find out. Let's see if our crappy scissors work. It's like paper scissors, but it's fine. This is crappy vinyl, so I'm getting close there. I don't want that close. And the other reason I use a rotary cutter on these is because I like to have everything straight and even, and it's harder to cut straight. This vinyl is so bad. But like I said, crappy vinyl works great on these. Use up all that crappy stuff that you don't want to stitch on normally. So here's one. Just cutting away 1/8 of an inch or so. I mean, I'll tell you, you live your life. Cut it as far away as you want to from the stitching. And that's it. So that's the first one. That's just a regular vinyl, leaf on the back, curls right up. So the next one was the one that I did that would be the personalized one, of the ones with designs on. So again, I'm going to convince the stabilizer to perforate and pull it right out. Yeah. And here is this version. Let me trim it up. This is the one that will have the stabilizer sandwiched in between with the design on it. So again, with that, just be really careful about your materials. If you're using tearaway as your stabilizer, you absolutely can, but you have a little more flexibility with your materials if you have Badge Master sandwiched in between, because it's not going to really add any bulk to it. Again, these are not the best scissors, but my good scissors are all the way over there. Good kindergartner cut this today. Oh wow, that's bad. And that's another reason I like to use the same color thread as my vinyl for my outline. Pretty much anything, because it kind of hides a little bit if your cutting isn't as straight. So that's this one. This is our design one here. So again, it's a little bit thicker. So it's a little harder to get material. It's not quite as soft as the first one, but it still works. So again, we just want to use thinner vinyls for this on there. So again, you can add your own design on those, just construct it the way that I did there, and make sure you use all the same steps and the same materials. So that's that. Rotary. I know, Pierre, you do not like rotary cutters. I respect rotary cutters. That's all. All right. Okay. So we're going to move on to shakers. So someone who is way smarter than I am in the group, started using the Olifant as their stabilizer on the hoop, which is freaking genius because that cuts out some extra stuff. It does require you to have more Olifant, but if you're making these in bulk, it's like super quick this way. So that's how we're going to do it with this one. So you absolutely can use this as your stabilizer on any of the versions. So let's do my shaker style. And I had these all like embroidery. I should have put these all in the hoop normally like a normal person, but let me go to the I think this is a shaker. I gotta make sure because I just loaded this on my own. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So before I start making sure that I have the shaker one loaded in here. I do. Okay. So for this one, I have the Olifant hoop as my stabilizer. You do not have to do this. It's just easier, quicker. So you can still use tearaway or the water soluble stabilizer, whatever you want to use here. So with this one, I'm going to go ahead and run the step for my placement. I don't know why I left it orange, but it's orange right now. What is going on? What are you doing? My machine is like just stitching in the same spot over and over again. Have you lost your mind? Yeah, I know the embroidery wasn't locked down because you're being dumb. Not in. What are you doing? Don't be stupid. Let's try that again. There we go. I don't know what that was about. Apparently didn't put out enough of the black, so we will go ahead and use pink here, because why not? With orange thread. Super matching today. So with this shaker, you're going to need 2 layers of the olefin before you get the vinyl down, so that it hides your band, or else you're going to be like this where you see the band, which if you like that, that's cool, that's fine. But I wanted to kind of hide the whole thing. So I'm going to do, let's see, well, since I'm doing pink, I'll do pink. All right, by orange. All right, I'll do pink. So first up on the shaker was placement on my stabilizer, but I'm using the olefin as my stabilizer. So there's that. And the next step is going to, actually I'm going to skip this next step because I'm using this. If you're using the olefin as your stabilizer, skip step 2 on the shaker version, because what's going to happen is when you stitch this piece here down, you want that opening at the top like we did before, so you can slide it in. And if you run through all the steps as they're written, like you're using stabilizer and then you're using a backing and then you're using a top for that too, follow it as instructed. But if you're making the adjustment of using this as stabilizer, skip step 2. So now we're going to tack down what's going to be our top piece of olefin. It's going to go right under our clear. It is a glitch in the matrix. I don't know what the machine was doing. Again, if I was being responsible, I would have taped this down, but here we are. I'm not doing that. So I'm just making sure that it doesn't move. We're good. While that's running, real quick on glitters for these. So you're gonna actually want like glitter or like the mylar scraps that I was talking about earlier for these, because if you get, I brought some over here. If you get, I brought some like bad examples over, and now I can't find. Oh, here they are. Okay, so these like little bobbly things with the beads and all these like clay slices are awesome if in regular shaker designs. They like look super cool and they give a really cool shake effect. However, when you use them on these, they end up being so heavy that they all kind of like gather in one area, and then you can't really, it doesn't want to close. So with these, it's going to be actual glitter is what you're going to want to use. So you can even get chunky glitter, like the chunky stuff. Kind of the smaller cut glitter is fine. And even like the mix of different shapes, these are fine. But you don't want that, if you go to like the Happy Kawaii Supplies, like they have a spot that's like clay slices, which like I said are super cool in some of the other shakers, but not for these. So stick with just glitter for these. glitter or like the crushed mylar or shredded mylar, because you want to make sure that it's not going to like gather in an area or be like so bulky that it's not going to close on you. So this was the one earlier that I did, and that is the combination. It's glitter, but it's like shape glitter, and this one closes just fine. So again, stick with glitter, shape glitter that's on the smaller side and not the big pieces and not like the clay slices. So, all right, so here we are. So this is where we're at now. So we have the olefin as our stabilizer. It's also our backing. So we're going to skip that step to put the backing down because it's already there, the stabilizer. This is our front piece here. And again, we've left ourselves a little pocket that we're going to slide our bracelet in. So again, smiley face. Put that piece of the excess down towards the bottom. So Michaela, sequins, they might, it just depends on how big they are and like how thick they are. Because these that I used earlier, like these to me are about what I would think like sequins would be, and it does not work. So it might be kind of like a trial and error kind of thing to see if they do. I'm not 100% sure. They might be thinner than those, but I would, yeah, you can play with it and see, but I'm not sure. So I don't want to tell you yes or no. So our bracelets in, just double check to make sure the top is below your line of stitching there. All right. And the next step is going to be basically your placement for the clear vinyl. I don't really need it because I already have it stitched down, so I'm going to skip it. But if you're following the design step by step, that's what it would be. It would be now. We're going to show our placement for the vinyl, but it's just an extra there, but we already know where the clear vinyl is going to go because we stitched it out. So again, this is the TPU 12 gauge, softer, more flexible. And that's what I put down. I found too that I swear one side of the clear vinyl is like more staticky than the other. So I kind of got in the habit of like seeing if it's like picking up lint. You can also run a dryer sheet along the side that, see, this is sticking to me right here. You can see where on this side, and it is, but not quite as much. So you can also run a dryer sheet just real quick on the inside to help kind of take some of that static away. But don't rub too hard or you're going to get that like, I don't know, that chemically stuff on there and it's going to like smear. So just a quick wipe. So I'm going to put that down. The next step would be before this where I would placement for clear vinyl, but I know where it's going. So I'm going to skip it and I'm just going to tack down my clear vinyl. This is going to go around the whole thing, but it's going to leave us a little opening at the top that we can insert the vinyl in. And if you haven't made a regular shaker design, it's the same thing. It's the same process. It's going to stitch around the clear vinyl, but it's going to leave an opening that you can get the stuff inside. And the very last step here would be, once we get it all filled, how we situate it how we like it, that's when that last piece would close it over and stitch it closed. Since I didn't tape my vinyl down like I said, I'm just going to make sure that I don't have like, it's not gathering or puckering anywhere on me. So again, I don't follow my own directions. I should have secured it down, but we're all good. All right, so here's where we're at now. We have an opening here along the top that we can put our glitter in. I am going to use, no, that's boring. I like the little clouds that make me happy. So I'll use some clouds and some pink here. So when you're doing these two, if you're doing like two different things of glitter, I kind of like to do a little bit of one and then a little bit of the other and kind of go back and forth. I also use a knitting needle to kind of move the stuff where I want it to go so I can see if I have enough in there. And so it's not like bunching up in one area, especially with some of the glitter is like stickier than others. This stuff, this cloud stuff is not so much, but I'm just gonna dump some in. Just be careful when you're pulling this in and you're putting it in that you're not like yanking this open. You just make a little kind of pull it just a little bit. No one wants to be yanked, so dump a little bit in. Oh, one more came out than I wanted to, but it's fine. And then I'm gonna open my other one up. I feel like this is gonna stick everywhere in here, but all right, more came out than I wanted. So once I have it in here in the center, I'm just gonna take my knitting needle and I'm kind of gonna move it around just to make sure it's all kind of mixed in. And honestly, the shape glitter that's small actually shakes better too. So versus, because if you can even see on here, I don't know if you can tell, but some of the actual like chunky glitter that wasn't like cut shapes kind of sticks more. So that's good for me. With this too, you don't want to overfill it. So of course I'm sticking to everything. So if you overfill it, it's going to like bunch up in an area and it's not going to want to snap. Just make sure that you have any big pieces, you kind of just shove them down out of the line of stitching. It should be fine if you hit them with your needle, but you also don't want like a half of a piece of glitter stuck in your stitching. Or maybe you're not as like, I don't know, particular as I am, but I want to get all these pieces down in there. All right, so here's where I'm at. And I am going to pop that back on and stitch this opening closed. Yeah, Ruby, seriously, I think I've inhaled glitter today, and I thought that glitter was bad, but those like Mylar like shreds are like way worse. All right, so there is that. And I'm just gonna cut that out real quick. Hoops everywhere. Where are my crappy scissors that I just used? If you could see the side over here and how big of a disaster it is, it's bad. Just kind of piled stuff over here as we were going. All right, so let me go ahead and cut this out with my really crappy scissors. My dog getting into something. I don't know what he's doing. At least there's no corn cobs out this time. All right, so that's it. You can shakes, if you can kind of tell. The bigger, like I said, the bigger pieces of glitter kind of are easier to kind of fall down than like the actual like round kind of thinner stuff. But yeah, that's it. We're on. And right now it's kind of bunching at the ends, which makes it a little harder to slap. So, and it bunches up. So you just kind of move it around so it's not bunched up. And that's the thing why you don't want to use too much in here. Because if it does bunch, it's not going to slap the same for you. So you really want to keep it less than glitter than you think you need. I think I overfilled this a little bit because it all kind of came out at one time on me. But that's it. And I'll trim all this stuff up and we got it. So we got our clear shaker one. And I don't know where I just set everything else we made earlier. It's over in this giant mess that's over here in this pile. It's so bad. What did I do with y'all? I don't know. Well, you were here. We made them. I just don't know what I did with them after that. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, nope, that's not it either. But again, that did happen, right? So I just can't find anything in my life in my mess over here. Oh, well. Yeah, where did they go? I don't know. We'll pretend we made this one. Oh, wait. Is it curled up back here? It's curled up back here. Is the other one curled up back here? I don't know. Where'd you go? I don't know. I do have this one that we did the individuals on. So this was the one that's kind of adding your own touch to it. It was the second one we made. Pretend this was the first one. It's regular style. And I don't know where the one that I just made was. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I got it. This is our regular vinyl one, our kind of personalized vinyl one, and then our shaker one. So that's it. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you'll make some of these. I know some people have made a bunch already, but if you haven't, give it a go. They're super fun, quick scrap busters, and you can use up all that crappy vinyl you don't want to use for anything else. So have a fab weekend, everybody. I'm going to 2 football games tomorrow. So 1 PB football game for my daughter cheers, and then the college game. So I'll be watching football all weekend. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions on this, go ahead and drop them in the comments, and I will get to them as I see them come up. I will save this video in the group so you can refer to later, and it will at some point when my husband, I don't know, gets his life together, he will load this up onto the YouTube channel too, so it'll live forever. So that's it. All right, thanks for joining us. Bye.